Well, thousands of Fauci emails have been released showing apparent contradictions in the advice that Dr. Fauci was giving. These emails are from all over the world, back and forth between Fauci and other scientists. In one of them, Dr. Fauci tells one woman that masks don't prevent the spread of the virus. That, of course, a stance that he later changed. And he was seen at times, of course, wearing two masks. Well, the emails have also added fuel to the thought that the virus actually did escape from the notorious lab in Wuhan, China. Joining us now for some analysis on that, again, are Young Americans for Liberty, Kristen Tate, and attorney and Democratic strategist Ken Altshuler. Thank you very much for joining us. Kristen, I'll start with you, and let's begin with the email that we were just referencing, and we can show it where Dr. Fauci dismissed wearing a mask as useless, and I won't read it again for folks, but we can put it up there so they can see. You know, does this raise for you more questions about Dr. Fauci's competence when it came to the entire situation with COVID-19?
Well, of course. And Dr. Fauci has proven that he is a political figure just as much as he is a public health figure. He has changed his mind on masks and other COVID measures numerous times, contradicting himself numerous times. And at this point, the American people have really just decided they don't trust him anymore. I've seen polls that show an increasing number of people just disregard what he has to say at this point. But look, we know the facts about COVID. We understand who's at most risk at this point, so the American people can make decisions to best protect themselves and their families. We do not need Dr. Fauci or any of these other lab coat expert bureaucrats telling us how to live our lives and how to keep our families safe. These experts have made themselves into political hacks, and it's really a shame that we can no longer trust the people in charge to give us accurate information.
He has contradicted himself in public, and these show some further contradictions, Ken. Do you feel he's still credible enough to be in that position?
I do, and I disagree with Kristen with all due respect, because I find, look, nobody is infallible, and you follow the science, and science can change. So you're right. Dr. Fauci said masks really do not protect you, and then the CDC did more research on it, decided that it does protect you, and he supported the CDC. You can't expect somebody to be right all the time, and science is not an exact science. I think this man is a man of integrity. I think he came forward and said that he was not being muzzled or censored by Mike Pence or by Donald Trump. I think that he has had a range of presidents that he's worked under that have found some strength in what he proposes. This is a man, to me, of integrity, of discipline, never complained, soft-spoken, tried to do the best he could to explain to people what was going on. I like Dr. Fauci. I think the American public will look back on him as being a man who really tried to do the right thing at the right time, and I applaud him. I like Dr. Fauci, and I support him 100%.
Ken, what about, when it comes to following the science, when you see an email like this from February 26th of last year, he received this letter from a fellow scientist saying, quote, "We think that there is a possibility that the virus was released from a lab in Wuhan, the biotech area of China." So he receives this letter, but yet at the same time, we are hearing from him, and we've heard very recently in some testimony that went back and forth with Senator Rand Paul, where he says, no, there was no funding. This was not from the Wuhan lab, before we even get to the funding part of it.
So you're correct. At first, the nature of COVID appeared to be, and many emails said, this appeared to be something that could be manufactured. Okay. And he said we need to be on alert for that. He certainly did agree with the conclusion of the World Health Organization that appeared to not be laboratory created and natural. But he has also said, pursuant to being cross-examined by Rand Paul, that we need to investigate it. We need to find out how this started. So once again, Dr. Fauci is not beneath changing his mind and being open to other alternatives. I don't see that as a fault. I see that as a bonus.
Let's give Kristen a chance to respond.
Oh, come on. I mean, this guy is all over the board. He's a political hack. And the bottom line is that we don't need Dr. Fauci telling us how to live our lives. The American people know how to keep their families safer better than Dr. Fauci or any other bureaucrat does. He has told us to wear masks, then not to wear masks. We were told not to go to work and send our kids to school, even though all of the evidence showed that kids and staff and teachers were really not at any high risk for contracting COVID and getting seriously sick. People have lost health and are public health experts, because they have shown themselves to be political. And that is a problem. If you want to say follow the science, fine, that's great. I'm all for following the science. But, and sometimes, my fellow panelist is right. Sometimes following the science means being led in different directions and changing your mind. That's fine. But the problem is when politics get involved. And Fauci has shown himself to be a political creature. That is why people don't trust him.
All right. Thank you very much, Kristen and Ken. Appreciate having you with us as always.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.